number 15 car. Bill Pillmore in the Snap-on Tools number 53 car. Don Scroggins in the Brock's Drywall 03. Jim Bates in the Mr. Ice sponsored 91 car. Jim Sneed in the Sneed Racing number 81 machine. Jerry Ballinger in that Sawyer Tire number 40 car. You see Jeff High Groove Richardson in that McKinney Racing sponsored number 97 car, and Stacy Hall up there in the Western Sizzlin number 14. Tony Barton in the Gullix Machine Shop number 34 car, and Darren Red in the Red Racing number 89. Dennis Sitton, of course, in the Ross's floor covering number 88 car. Ron Padalra in the Show Me Muffler number 71, and Charlie Dinwiddie, brand new driver with us in the Dinwiddie Racing number 51. And Bob, we're halfway home with the first bomber feature of the evening, and this is where we're going to pick it up.
We call them the grassroots of area racing. They run on pure street tires, the same type of tires that you and I have on our vehicles that will drive home this evening. And as you look at that Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, as our parade of sponsors will head down the front straightaway and pull to the high side, we've got 7 down and 8 laps remaining. Then it is back to the pits for the bomb squad. We'll roll out a brand new program, starting off with the super stocks. The late model stocks, the late models, and then the bomb squad will hit the track. And Ronnie, look at that beautiful pace car provided by Bill Roberts.
Bill Roberts, Chevy, Pontiac, Olds, and Buick right here in Bolivar, Missouri, one of the leading new car dealers for General Motors. They've also got a used car lot as the red flag will be coming out, and we'll get the Bombers to be shutting it down here for just a minute. And Bob, we're about ready to go racing.
And Ronnie, don't forget, tomorrow at the I-44 Speedway as well, and next Friday we'll be back with you at the Friday night action track. And ladies and gentlemen, as we do each and every Friday evening, we invite you to please rise for our pre-race invocation and remain standing for our national anthem. And now from Raceway Ministries, here's Gene Bybee.
Well, let's pray. Father, we just thank you for this evening, and we just take time to pause a minute to praise you for the wonderful weather. It's been a busy, busy day, and now we're excited about the racing event this evening. We just give this evening to you, Father, in trust and praise. We just ask your blessing on the drivers and on the pit crew, that you'd protect them and be with them, Father. We just ask for this to be a blessing to each person here, that they would really enjoy the racing. We've come to this event just to enjoy the competition and the excitement of racing. We thank you for that. But we just ask for blessings, Father, to overflow to all those present. We just thank you in Jesus' precious, precious name.
Hey, Gary Klossner, are you ready to go racing? Let's go racing! Let me ask you, Grandstand, are you ready to go racing? Wild side is there, going to be coming around, led by that Bill Roberts Chevrolet. Here's Bob.
And Ronnie, you look at that Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, you're seeing that we're not quite halfway through the Bomb Squad's main event from last week when the rains came, as that Bill Roberts pace car will take the high line down the backstretch and take that 1994 Camaro back to the pit area, as the field will be led around on another pace lap by Gary Klossner in car 15. He is your race leader with 8 laps remaining. Bill Pillmore in the number 2 position. Don Scroggins in 03 with another strong run, of course, in the number 3 position. Your attention in the pits, please. Your attention in the pits. Superstock heat races. Superstock's first heat race to the staging area immediately, please. Superstock first heat race. Staging area immediately. Gary Klossner sets your pace down the backstretch. Pillmore, Scroggins, and Bates, your top 4 runners. Keith Foreman's going to look over the field with 8 laps to go. Let's go racing! Jeff Richardson, your track points leader, as the Bomb Squad heads into turn 1, and Klossner will take the lead, opening up about a 4-car length advantage over Pillmore. As now diving to the low side of that familiar 81 machine is Jim Sneed, as Barton loops 34 halfway down the backstretch, but fires it up. He's going to try and keep going, but not before the caution flag comes out. Rick Butler, please come to the foot of the judges' booth, please. Rick Butler, please come to the foot of the judges' booth. So 7 down and 8 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Your attention in the pits, please. Your attention in the pits. Super Stock first heat race to the staging area immediately, please. Super Stocks first heat race to the staging area immediately. Kloster, Pillmore, Scroggins, Bates, and the 81 machine of Jim Sneed, your top 5 runners. Ballinger, Hall, Highgroove, Richardson, Red, Sitton, Palandra, Dinwiddie, and Tony Barton, and Keith Foreman to the bomb squad with 8 laps remaining. Let's go racing. They'll hit the start-finish line with 8 laps left on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, and another great restart for Kloster in the Big Four. Pillmore, Scroggins, Bates, and Sneed continue to be top 5, but here comes Ballinger as Sneed slows down a bit in 81. But it's Kloster headed off of turn 4 with 8 laps down and 7 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Scroggins tries to challenge Pillmore now on the high side in a battle for second as Highgroove Richardson slides by Hall and starts to make his way into the top 8. Richardson is your track points leader heading into the action this evening. 9 down, 6 laps remaining. It's still Kloster, Pillmore, Scroggins, Bates, and Ballinger. Scroggins loose in 0-3. Ballinger to the inside of Bates and moving up to the number 3 spot. As Kloster heads off of turn 4 now with 10 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. It's Kloster, Pillmore, Scroggins, Ballinger, Bates, and look at Highgroove now going to the low side and up to the number 5 position. But it's Gary Kloster powering that forward down the front straightaway. Only 4 laps remaining, 11 laps are down. This, the completion of the Bomb Squad main event from last weekend, which was stopped with 7 down because of rain. Highgroove now by Ballinger and up to the number 4 spot, hoping for a caution flag to try and close the gap. We'll have 12 down, only 3 laps remaining. It's still Kloster 1, almost a straightaway lead over Pillmore and Scroggins. Highgroove, last year's track champion and your points leader, trying to close the gap as Sneed heads to the pits in 81. Again off of turn 4, now with 13 down, only 2 laps remaining. Will this be another win for the Big Four of Gary Kloster in 15? Pillmore and Scroggins running 2nd and 3rd. Highgroove in the number 4 position. Ballinger continues to run 5th. As Kloster heads off of turn 4, the white flag is out. He's only got 1 more lap to go. Boy, after a great restart, it has been all Gary Kloster with Pillmore and Scroggins running 2nd and 3rd. Super Stock heat races come up next, but not before the checkered flag will fly for a driver moving forward in the track point standings in car 15, Gary Kloster. Pillmore comes home 2nd, Scroggins 3rd, Highgroove in the number 4 position, and in the battle for 5th, it's Stacy Hall. He makes a long haul to run with us each and every...
Jim Hunt will lead him out in car number 15. Jeff Smith in car 33. Buffalo's Danny Meyer in 21. Jim Cates in 91. Herb Spickard in 28. Tim Stark in 52. Lebanon, Missouri's Brian Brown in car number 2. Back with us from Rolla, Missouri, that's Troy Constable in car number 97. And Chuck Hansen will be driving the old one here this evening. Of course, the old-timers car, with a couple of weekends left after this weekend's action, we'll find out who's going to be getting to pilot the old-timers. All right, we're getting ready set for the first qualifying heat of the Superstock division, and rookie driver Jim Hunt to set the pace for the race in car number 15. Keep your eyes on that number 2 row. Danny Meyer, a former Ozark Coca-Cola Bomb Squad champion, and a rookie contender Jim Cates. And Cates has really been impressive for the last month solid. Back there in that 3rd row, you've got Tim Stark and, of course, Herb Spickard in 28. It'll be Hanson and Brian Brown. And keep your eyes on the I-44 point leader, Troy Constable, at the rear. Here they come. The lights are off. And Mr. Foreman says, I don't think so. Gonna try this one more time. Discussed a little bit in the drivers' meeting, Bob, this evening that you want those cars at least side by side when they get that green. And if the pole car or the outside pole car is not going to be able to keep up on that pace for a good start, then you're going to be probably seeing a couple of cars go to the rear here this evening, and it'll be an original restart, and it looks like Mr. Jeffrey Smith will be having to start at the rear in that Tri-States Whiteley sponsored number 33 car. Bob, regular racing show tomorrow night at the Lebanon I-44 Speedway. We'll open the gates at 5:30. Action to start at 7:30 sharp.
As regular as things can get, Ronnie, with the points battles we've got brewing. The green flag is in the air and the lights are off.
Here we go. And in the qualifying heat races, you move the cars straight up the line. And Chuck Hanson, a little bit of problems in the old-timers car. Hunt to set the pace. Case on his outside end. The green is out. We're going to go racing. 4 wide as they come down underneath the start-finish line. But it's going to be Jim Hunt to set the early pace. Jim Cates now in the number 2 spot, as Spickard is up to 3rd. You want to try to qualify in the top 6 of your qualifying race to get the inverted average start. Coming down for lap number 1, it's going to be Jim Hunt looking strong, as Jim Cates now right on his bumper. It's hot out in front of it. Here comes Cates. Meanwhile, Spickard, Stark, and Constable. Brian Brown round out your top 6. Roaring into that 3rd turn. Still Hunt in control, but here comes Cates in that Monte Carlo, while the Ford of Herb Spickard is closing up quickly. A 6-car freight train rolling off turn number 2 with 2 down and 6 to go. It's still Hunt in control as Cates holds on strong. Here comes Spickard now in car number 28. Off of turn 4, Hunt gets it a little bit high. Oh, and Tim Stark getting way high in that Pontiac. That allows Constable to move up to the number 4 spot. Brian Brown is the driver on the bubble. Meanwhile, as they roll by the wild side down into turn number 3, it's still Hunt, Cates, and Spickard nose to tail. As we get ready to approach the halfway point, Hunt getting a little high in the turns, and here comes Cates on the charge. Hunt still in control. Cates closing in ever so slightly, while Spickard looking for running room back in 3rd spot. As they round turn number 3, Hunt goes low. Now he'll slide the car a little high as Cates once again to make a move. Looks like Brian Brown off the pace now in car number 2. Hunt getting high. Here comes Cates to the inside. Hunt continues looking for that first heat race win in that Cameo Carpets 15 car. Meanwhile, the point leader at the I-44 Speedway, Troy Constable, is on the charge. Constable now moving up to alongside of Herb Spickard, trying to get that number 3 spot. Back up front, Cates down low, Hunt to the outside. The white flag's going to be coming out this time around for Hunt and Cates with only 1 more lap to go. Constable shucks to the inside of that second check Camaro. Now the battle for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Stark riding back in 5th. Hunt trying to get that heat race win. Here comes Cates. Spickard trying to get over 2nd spot. But as they round turn number 4, the checkered flag is out for Jim Hunt. Cates running 2nd. Spickard is 3rd. Constable 4th. Stark 5th. And
There's left.
that's right. That includes this weekend. So after tonight, there'll only be 2 more regular shows here at Speedway USA as the Fast Dash Heat now rolls out. Andy Jenkins will lead them out in car number 59. Steve Bias out of Everton, Missouri in car 79. Row number 2, he will start tonight's feature in the dead last position. That's Tim McCowan in car number 12 to his outside. Last year's Superstock Rookie of the Year from Miller, Missouri, the double donut car, of course, of Robbie Johnson. The 3rd row, Jody Whitener back with us in that GL Moore Tire-sponsored number 18 car to his outside. The man that's 2nd in the point standings from St. James, Missouri, car number 42, Tom Klaus. The 4th row, a very strong run for the last 3 weeks out of Fair Grove, Missouri, driving car number 26, Glenn Lucas. And to his outside, back with us from close by here in Bolivar, in car number 94, Johnny Case. The driver that will start dead last. He was last year's Super Stock point champion from Miller, Missouri. This year with the big number 1 on the car, charging Charlie Johnson. Jenkins to set the pace, bias to his outside line. Row number 2 will see McCowan, and Kim McCowan third in the track point standing. As the lights will go off, it doesn't matter where McCowan finishes in the qualifier. He's starting tonight's feature dead last in this big field of super stockers. Keep your eyes back on that third row. Jody Whitener, a very impressive rookie in car number 18, and Tom Klaus been looking real strong in 42. Row 4 is, of course, Lucas Johnson in the shotgun spot. Here they come, and Mr. Foreman says, let's go racing! And Andy Jenkins, the second-year driver, takes the early control, but now McCowan, also only his second year, is on the charge along with Steve Bias. Down by the wild side, they go wheel to wheel into turn number 3. It's Jenkins on the low side. Bias trying to get a bite on that high groove, as now Tom Klaus is on the charge. The man runner-up in the point standing. Tom Klaus dives to the inside of Robbie Johnson. The battle wheel to wheel for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Johnny Cates now on the bubble. But it's all Andy Jenkins out in front as Klaus now looks to the inside of last week's winner, McCowan. The battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Jenkins only about 3 car lengths ahead, and Bias gets a little high. That allows McCowan and that Malibu Chevy to move up to the runner-up spot. Meanwhile, back in the pack now, Johnny Case holding on to that 6th qualified spot. Jenkins makes a small bobble, and here comes McCowan. 3 down, 5 to go in the fast dash heat. Now charging Charlie Johnson, trying to overhaul a top 6 finish. Down by the wild side, it's still Jenkins in control. Now Bias and McCowan continue that battle for second and third. Klaus now back in the number 4 slot. Bias, who earlier was using that high groove, ducks that 79 car to the low side. Oh, McCowan and Bias getting together a little bit. A great job of driving, but it's going to cost Bias a spot. Klaus goes to the outside of Bias. Now McCowan is on the charge as they come roaring down for lap number 5. It's Andy Jenkins, but here comes McCowan. McCowan tries the outside. He now decides to dive to the inside. Klaus now up to third. Bias is fourth, while the Johnson and Johnson team running 5th and 6th. Off of turn number 4. Jenkins still holds the line. Meanwhile, McCowan continues to fake on that outside. Tom Klaus is now on the move. 6 down, 2 to go. McCowan looks low. Jenkins shuts the door as Klaus now makes a move to the outside. The white flag is coming out this time around for Andy Jenkins with only 1 more lap to go. Klaus now up to the number 2 spot. He backs off. McCowan gets him back while Bias, Johnson, and Johnson are also on the charge. Jenkins holding that middle line in car 59. Into turn number 3. Watch the race for second and third. McCowan and Klaus, but at the flag stand, it's Jenkins with the victory. McCowan second, Klaus third.
A great points battle is taking place. Here come the late model stocks. Led out by Dave Anderson in that Chevrolet Beretta. Corky Wynn, a veteran driver, heads out in car 88. A big payday a couple of weeks back in the Gatorade Challenge for the Buffalo chauffeur in car 49, Sam Payne. The American band-sponsored car 28 of Ron Duproux. And boy, he has been running so well over the last month in car 24, Randy Besser. First heat race of the evening for the late model stocks. It's Wynn and Anderson, Payne and Duproux. Besser rounds out the field in car 24 as they head down the backstretch. The lights are off. Keith Foreman of the Hot Rods of Area Racing. This time around, what do you say? Let's go racing! And Wynn will take your lead as they dial turn one of the first qualifier. Payne to the inside of Anderson. Dubois looking to make it 3 wide as he's up to the number 3 spot. But his veteran driver, Corky Wynn, in the middle groove in car 88, hitting the front stretch. With 1 lap down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, the 88 machine of Win Your Race Later. Sam Payne out of Buffalo in the number 2 spot as they head off of turn 3, and now the caution will come out. Evidently some debris out into the track. That's what's brought out the caution flag. Fast car qualifier for the late model stocks is in the staging area. That will hit the track next. And after the fast car qualifier, the Grand American late models will hit the track. Then the bomb squad. One lap down, and Corky Wynn in car 88 trying to hold off the challenges of Sam Payne. Ron Dubois in 28 in the number 3 spot, and the lights are off. They hit turn 3. Keith Foreman, what do you say? To the late model stocks, let's go racing. And Sam Payne, who won a couple of weeks back, tries the inside, but he bobbles in 49, allowing Dubois to close the gap and slide right on his rear bumper in the number 3 spot. But as Corky headed off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch with 2 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard in the first qualifying heat race of the evening for the late model stocks. And Wynn able to open up about a 3-car length advantage as they dial turn 4. 3 laps down. Fast car qualifier in the staging area. And boy, another solid run for Randy Besser. He's in the number 4 position, holding fast to that position and trying to close in on Ron Dubois. But at the front of the field, it is Corky Wynn in car 88. But Payne out of Buffalo in car 49, closing the gap. He looked to the high side, but bobbled a bit as they headed off of turn 2. 4 laps down in the first qualifying heat race for the late model stocks. Here down the front straightaway with 5 laps down, 3 laps remaining. Boy, this is going to be one whale of a feature this evening. Payne again off the accelerator, allowing about a 2-car length advantage for Corky Wynn. Dubois hanging on to that number 3 position. We'll have 6 laps down, 2 laps remaining. It's a nose-to-tail battle in a 4-car freight train hitting the backstretch. Wynn, Payne, Dubois, and Besser. The white flag is coming out. This time around, they've only got 1 more lap to go. Can Corky Wynn, who now smokes that 88 machine, hang on and get his first win of the year? Or can Sam Payne make the pass in the last 2 corners? Car 88 is headed to the checkered flag. It drops for Corky Wynn. Car qualifier for the late model stocks. Points battle and all, but no points awarded in the qualifying heat races. He is the 3-time Speedway USA track champion in car 57 out of Springfield, Larry Roberts. Call him TJ out of Lebanon. He is 4th in the point standings. Car 56, Tony Jackson. He is tasted winner's circle at the Friday night action track out of the racing community of Camdenton in car 83, Ben Newell. Currently 2nd in the track point standings, only 6 points back of your leader out of Holden in car 33, Destry Huff. 12 points back in the track point standings out of Marshfield in car 54, Mark Chance. Your track points leader and defending track champion from Gravois Mills in car 1, the racing Reverend Jack Daniel. 6 cars, 8 times around. Keith Foreman looks over the bomb score, looks over the late model stocks, and he will say this time around, let's go racing. As Jackson and Roberts take it side by side. Jackson has already picked up a win in the Ozarks this year. Roberts knows winner's circle. It's a 4-car side-by-side, nose-to-tail freight train headed across the start-finish line with one lap down. And to the high side is Ben Newell in car 83. He's headed to the pits. Now 3 wide with Daniel, Larry Roberts, and Tony Jackson, a 3-car battle for the lead. We'll have 2 laps down, and your race leader in car 56 is Tony Jackson. As the Reverend bobbles in car 1, Roberts hanging on to 3rd, but here comes Destry up in 33. What a battle, and they're just getting dialed in for the feature. 3 down, 5 remaining for Tony Jackson as Huff tries to hold off Roberts in a battle for 3rd. While your track points leader is up to the number 2 spot, Jack Daniel trying to haul in Tony Jackson. 4 down this time around, halfway through the fast car qualifying heat race. Nose to tail is the battle for the lead with Jackson, Daniel, Huff, Roberts, and Mark Chance. Only 12 points separate the top 3 in the track point standings. 5 are down, 3 are remaining. The Reverend trying to haul in Jackson, and now Destry Huff moving up in a hurry in the number 3 spot. As they hit turns 3 and 4, now the front stretch. 6 are down, only 2 laps remaining. Look at that 3-car freight train in a battle for the lead. Jackson, Daniel, and Huff. Nose to tail, they hit turn 3 with the white flag coming out this time for the fast car qualifier with 1 more lap to go. Is there time for Jack Daniel? Has he been biding his time, or does Tony Jackson have this one covered? Huff's going to hang on to 3rd, Roberts and Chance your top 5. Final 2 corners, and the checkered flag will fly this time around for Tony Jackson. Jack Daniel 2nd, Destry Huff 3rd, Larry Roberts 4th.
Last Saturday night in a big feature, and now it's time for the Grand American Late Models. This is the first qualifying heat for the Cars and Stars of the Pacific Coast region. Tim Swearingen will lead them out now in car number 14. Jerry Kelly will be driving car number 44 this evening. The second row scheduled in car number 35 out of Springfield is Steve Holt, also scheduled to his outside. And here comes that 4th Thunderbird, 11 and Kenny Spud Dickinson. The 3rd row this evening, you see Jamie McMurray now coming out in car number 2X, and to his outside, Rich Lumble and Bob Webster in 25. And starting shotgun, he comes to us from Fort Smith, Arkansas. We used to call him the Arkansas Traveler, Chuck Knight in car number 60. Thank you. Good old ice cold Coke right about now. We'll get everybody up into their starting grid spot here, and for both of us, all right. And Bob, they're a little bit antsy right now because remember, Larry Phillips starts tonight's feature dead last. These 7 are trying to qualify for an inversion of 6.
Need to finish in the top 6 and able to in order to use your point average and work your way into the inversion for the feature. It'll be side by side. It'll be nose to tail in the first qualifier for the Pacific Coast region Cars and Stars. And boy, they have come out in full force with only 3 points races left, counting tonight's action. Late models will also be on hand with us tomorrow evening. In fact, all 5 divisions at the I-44 Speedway, including the open wheel Thunder and Lightning of the Grand American Modifieds. Fast car heat race for the late models is in the staging area. It will hit the track next, and then we will turn loose the bomb squad in the first of 2 qualifying heat races. After the racing competition wraps up, hang on to those McDonald Land ticket studs. You go to McDonald's with your racing ticket, purchase a large sandwich, it's a free medium soft drink. The lights are off.
Here we go. Tim Swearingen, who will be celebrating a birthday Sunday to try to win this first qualifier. Spud to his outside. It'll be Holden Webster, McMurray, Jerry Kelly, and the Traveler Knight. Here they come, and we're going to go right side. And Swearingen and Dickinson wheel to wheel right up front off the start as they power down the back straightaway. The fourth under to Kenny Dickinson takes control. Meanwhile, keep your eyes back on second, third, fourth, and fifth as Tim Swearingen and the Richland Bullets are looking go at it. Webster up to the number 2 spot. Now Holt on the outside as the Arkansas Traveler Chuck Knight is now on the move. But up front, Lebanon, Missouri chauffeur Spud Dickinson now has Bob Webster glued to his back bumper. Trying to qualify the top 6. It's Spud on the high line. The Bullet now low. While Swearingen now continues to hold up the challenger and Holt for third. Holt to the low side. Swearingen up high as they come rolling down the first straightaway with Dickinson still in control. 3 down, 7 to go. Webster right on the back bumper, and that's Chevrolet Lumina down by the wild side. As Holt and Swearingen now continue their battle for the number 3 spot. Coming down the front straightaway. Dickinson and Webster continue to go to nose and tail. Rob Knight's trying to find running room. Webster coming off a 2, dives to the inside. Dickinson continues to use that high line as they're trying 3 wide. No, the Traveler backs out the throttle. Down the front straightaway once again. It's Spud to control, and here comes Bob. We're halfway home. Swearingen and Holt continue their battle. Off of turn number 2. Webster rolls it down the back straightaway into turn 3. The Richland Bullet now backs out the throttle as Dickinson uses the high line. Holt now into third. Down, Dickinson high, Webster down low, as McMurray and Swearingen now continue the battle for 5th and 6th. Off of turn number 3, Dickinson continues to set the pace. Webster right on his bumper as Holt's now going down. Second generation driver Steve Holt and the Arkansas Traveler Chuck Knight are on the charge quickly to the front, but it's a dynamic duo battle. Webster again to the inside. Spuds gets a little high. Here comes Bob roaring down the front straightaway. 8 down, 2 remain. Hurt now, Corbin Brown. The McCann Printing Lumina is on the charge, but it's that Buzzline Thunderbird and Dickinson to hold the high lane. The white flag is coming up. This time around for Dickinson and Webster. 1 more lap to go. Dickinson continues to use that high line. Here comes the Richland Bullet. Bob Webster once again. Down into turn number 3. Bob backs off. Hopes to get a run at second. But at the flag stand, he's all lit up with a victory. It's Dickinson with the checkers. Webster second. Holt third. Dash E will be former Ozarks Mellow Yellow Rookie of the Year Roy Chisholm in car number 57. James Kelly Jr. in car number 30. Second in the track point standings is Archie Griffin, driving car number 11 this evening. He is outside, right 8th in the Pacific Coast region, the Lucky 13 Oldsmobile of Paul Wallen. Back in the 3rd row, he is the young man that won the first feature here last Friday night. He is on the bubble, ranked 10th in the region. Car number 52, Brian Daniel. To his outside, the man with a perfect score in the Winston Racing Series, the driver of car number 75, your track point leader, Larry Phillips. 6 cars, 10 times around. 4 of the top 10 starting in the 2nd and 3rd row. Ought to be an interesting showdown as the lights will be shutting off this time around. But Rapid Roy Chisholm, the last 3 weeks, has been really getting a little more horsepower out of that Arbuckle Motors powered number 57 Lumina. James Kelly Jr. has been turning a lot of heads in the A.D. McCowan Trucking number 30 car. Then you've got Archie Griffin driving the Phillips backup car here this evening as his own car not yet ready, getting geared up for the Arco Show. Paul Wallen from Lockwood, Missouri, the O'Sullivan Furniture sponsored 13 Oldsmobile, the Howard's Auto Salvage 52 car Daniel, the Sportsman Pickup Covers number 75 car Phillips. 6 cars, 10 times around. Roy brings them in easy and we're going to try this one more time. And Bob just a little bit antsy. Discussed in the drivers' meeting here this evening that one of them good wheel-to-wheel starts And if they couldn't quite get that one, Bob, they were going to be sending them back to the rear, and that brought a big round of applause from the drivers here this evening.
All 5 divisions are set to run tomorrow evening at the I-44 Speedway. The Modifieds will be back on hand with us next Friday night at Speedway USA. Of course, Ronnie, all kinds of folks out there to make the racing competition possible. Hardee's of Southwest Missouri jumped aboard as a corporate supporter this year. For all your racing souvenirs, you need to head down to Automobilia in Springfield. Of course, Citizens Memorial Hospital is aboard, along with Polk County Bank and the Southwest Bank of Polk County. Springfield Engine Supply and a whole lot more we'll tell you about them as the lights go off.
Here we go. It'll be Chisholm and Wallen now in the front row. As we don't cross them in the heats, we move them straight ahead, looking for the green flag, and we're going to go inside. And Chisholm dives to the inside, but it's Wallen on the outside lane. Roaring off turn number 2 by the wild side. Paul Wallen out in front, looking for his first Bolivar win of the season, as he's got the Pacific Coast Regional leader. Wallen is over. Now Larry Ron. Larry moves the slide, but here comes Wallen on the outside. Ron's horsepower against the drain motor. Down into turn 3. It's Phillips now, making the move on the high groove. Now Wallen getting a little bit higher, and it's Phillips now going in the front. Larry Phillips now your new race leader, but here comes Wallen back on the outside. While the battle goes on for 4th between Kelly Jr., Roy Chisholm, and Brian Daniel. It's Phillips heading up thundering hard up Grand American late model, with Wallen now about 3 car lengths back as they single it out, racing for position. Phillips stretching that lead by 4 car lengths. Wallen holds on to the number 2 spot. Griffin is 3rd. Now watch the race for 4th place. And Kelly Jr. and Brian Daniel continue their battle for 4th. Kelly's on the high lane, Daniel on the low lane. Wheel to wheel, the race for the number 4 spot, while Larry Phillips stabilizes that lead in car 75. And Phillips now trying different racing lanes in that Chevrolet Lumina, as Wallen with the Pinzone Coast sponsorship holds on to 2nd. Now Kelly Jr. and Brian Daniel continue that race for the number 4 spot, and Phillips now hits himself a 10-car length lead. It's Phillips, Wallen, and Griffin, but watch the race for 4th place. Kelly Jr. and Brian Daniel continue to go wheel to wheel at over 100 miles an hour. Kelly Jr. Brian looks to the inside, rocketing by the wild side. This is the battle for 4th place, as it's all Larry Phillips in the 5-car heat race. Daniel and Kelly Jr. continue that door-handle battle. Daniel down to the low side, Kelly Jr. to the high side, as the white flag is coming out for 75. Larry Phillips, only 1 more lap to go. Griffin, Kelly Jr. and Daniel continue to put on the best show in the Fast Dash East. That is the exit. Turn number 4, the checker flag flying for Phillips. Wallen 2nd, Griffin 3rd. The race for 4th will go to Kelly Jr.
Here they come, the grassroots of area racing, the Bomb Squad. Charlie Dinwiddie leads them on car number 51. Ron Polandra back with us in car 71. Dennis Sitton in 88. Tony Barton in 34. Rocky Rash in 77. Stacy Hall in 14. That's Shane Ryan in 69. And James Bates in 91. Also making his way out onto the track is Jim Sneed in car 81. And Keith Foreman's going to turn the lights off this time around. First of 2 qualifying heat races for the Bomb Squad, as they're going 6 times around, and the fast car qualifier is in the staging area. It will hit the track next. Polandra and Dinwiddie, Sitton and Barton, Rash and Hall, Ryan, Bates and Sneed. 6 times around the Friday night action track, as Keith Foreman looks over the Bomb Squad and will say, this time around, let's go racing. And to the high side is Dinwiddie in 51, but it's Barton, a big mover below the white line in 34, making it 3 wide down the backstretch. Dinwiddie, Palandra, and Barton. Here comes Rocky Rash in 77 as they dial turn 4 for the first time, 3 wide. It's Dinwiddie hitting the start-finish line first. Sitting now up and battling Palandra for the number 2 spot. Palandra starts to loop 71, but has her straightened out, but not before. Sitting can work his way by at 88, and Rocky Rash gets airborne. Palandra looping it. Ryan getting together with Sneed as a fender is loose. That's going to bring out a caution flag, and the agriculture racing for Shane Ryan. Sneed will head to the pits in car 81, debris all over turn number 3. And Shane Ryan climbing out of that 69 machine on the entrance to turn 3. Of course, the number 1 concern is the automobile. We've got ourselves a pretty good lineup with a lap down, 5 laps remaining. And while they get the debris taken care of, great time to head to that concession stand. Grab yourself an ice cold Ozark Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper. Of course, an early evening snack, not a bad idea either, including some of that world-famous Chauncey's ice cream, which is on sale in the concession stand. And you also want to pick up a copy of the souvenir program. It'll update you on all the point standings for the 4 divisions set to run this evening. Ronnie, kind of difficult to tell from up top, but from down in the infield like that, did you get a look at what happened on the entrance to turn number 3? Because it appeared that Rocky Rash might have even gotten airborne in 77.
Couldn't see behind the welcome sign that we got down here in the infield, Bob. I heard a little bit of a crashing sheet metal, and I knew something was going to happen right there by the wild side in turn number 3. Everybody coming away in good shape. Safety is the main concern of the drivers. The driver's main concern, make sure first they're okay, then they're going to check the damage to the car. And a tough break for the Bolivar show for Shane Ryan, as Shane has really been running strong this year with us in that McDonald's car.
Yep, Sitton, Rash. And the 14 of Hall, followed by Bates and Barton. 5 laps remaining as they dial turn number 3. And Keith Foreman, looking over the grassroots of area racing from his perch, will say, let's go racing. And Dinwiddie, another good start in 51 as Rocky Rash dials the inside, is sitting in a battle for second. Hall had a strong run in the completion of last week's feature, hanging on to that number 4 position. But it's Dinwiddie in 51 hitting the front stretch first, with 2 down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 4 laps remaining. And Hall, the new player in the game, in car 14 to the high side, as Sitton's able to muscle up and hang on to second, but now Rocky Rash on the move in 77. This will be the midway point, halfway through the first qualifier for the bomb squad. Dinwiddie, Rash, Sitton, Bates now moving up and challenging for 4th. As Rash gets a bit loose in 77. And Hall starting to fall off the pace, and Bates on the charge up to the number 4 spot. 4 laps are down, 2 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard as Dinwiddie dials the front stretch in 51. Rash up to the number 2 spot, Sitton hanging on to 3rd, and Hall on the low side of Bates. Keith Foreman has the white flag rolled up this time around for the first qualifier of the evening for the bomb squad as Rash gets high in 77. For the bomb squad, there's only 1 more lap to go. And Rash to the high side and by Dinwiddie, who looks to challenge back on the inside as Bates moves by Sitton and up to the number 3 spot. But the checkered flag will fly this time around. Is there time for Dinwiddie? As the 77 Rash hits the front stretch, the first heat race winner, Rocky Rash. Dinwiddie second, Bates third, and Hall in the number 4 position. Fast car qualifier of the evening for the bomb squad. Don Scroggins in 03 leads them out. The 89 machine of Darren Red. Bolivar's own Jerry Ballinger in car number 40. Cleo Jasper in car 93. Bill Pillmore in 53. John Reppert in 99. Last year's track champion and your points leader in 97. Calling him high groove, Jeff Richardson.
Now, Bob, a lot of people might be wondering, where's the guy that won the first race, Gary Klossner? Rule at the Speedway. You win one week, you start shotgun the next. What they're racing now is for probably the 4th, 5th, and 6th rows back into that way. Klossner is saving his car right now. He knows he's starting shotgun, dead last in the Bomb Squad feature, so he's not going to burn the tires up. And Bob, while we call it the penalty box, it also kind of benefits those drivers that win the previous week because they don't have to run that qualifying heat race.
And down the backstretch they will go. Second qualifier of the evening. Your attention in the pits, please. Attention in the pits. Second call. Superstock A feature to the staging area immediately, please. Superstock A feature to the staging area. 8 cars set to go 6 times around, with the second half of the program set to kick off with the Superstock A feature.
Fans, I tell you what, his night is through, and you can see him on the end of Leo Records. He's from right here in Bolivar, looking over the damage to the car. Trust me, he's through for the rest of the evening. What do you say you put your hands together real big for the driver of car 69, Shane Ryan.
Boy, and Ronnie, he has consistently been in the top 5 all season long in that 69 machine. He's going to be hauled right into the middle of the infield as the lights will go off. Scroggins in red. Ballinger and Price. Jasper and Pillmore. Reppert and Highgroove. Here we go with that slow, methodic, hourglass, sundial, pace of the Bomb Squad. They hit turn 3, Keith Foreman. Taking a deep breath with the lights off. What do you say this time around to the Bomb Squad? Let's go racing. Superstock A feature is next as Scroggins in red. Hit turn 1. Ballinger hanging on to that number 3 position, but Jasper on the low side at 93 will drop back to 4th. Pillmore and Reppert battle it out for the number 5 spot. You need to be in the top 6 to use your point average and work into the inversion for the feature. 1 lap down, Scroggins in 03. Red in 89, and here comes Ballinger in car 40 as Jasper loops the 93 and Pillmore tries to take advantage. But it's Scroggins, Red, and Ballinger, your top 3 runners. We'll have 2 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. And that 4-car freight train hits turn 1, and Ballinger almost smacks the wall. Jasper trying to move past the Bolivar chauffeur and up to the number 3 spot. But it's Don Scroggins in 03. Red in 89. Then the side-by-side battle with Ballinger and Jasper. Halfway through, 3 laps down, 3 laps remaining. Boy, now going 3 deep for the Bomb Squad. Ballinger, Pillmore, and Jasper. And Scroggins using that battle to open up about an 8-car length advantage. As the chauffeur of 03 hits the front stretch with 4 laps down. 2 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Pillmore up to the number 3 spot and looking for second to the inside of Darren Red. Down the back stretch, it's Scroggins, Pillmore, Red, Reppert, Jasper, Highgroove, Ballinger, and Price with a white flag coming out this time around with 1 more lap to go. Is there time for Pillmore, who has moved his way forward and up to the number 2 spot? Or will this be the heat race for Scroggins in 03? As track points leader Jeff Richardson up to the number 4 position, moving by Darren Red. But the checkered flag will fly this time around, and it will fly for Don Scroggins. Pillmore second, Reppert third.
Stuck Ash, led up by the Bill Roberts Camaro. Here comes our super stock A feature. Herb Spickard will lead him out in car number 28. Jim Cates in 91. Tim Stark in the 52 car. Andy Jenkins in 59. Steve Bias in 79. Glenn Lucas in car 26. Robbie Johnson in car 00. Wayne Lewis is driving car number 1 here this evening. The runner-up in the point standings, Tom Klaus in car number 42. Chuck Hansen in the old-timers car here this evening. Johnny Cates in car 94. Jody Whitener in 18. Brian Brown in 2. Danny Meyer in 21, Jeff Smith in 33, and starting toward the rear in car number 97, looks like it's going to be Troy Constable behind the wheel. Many years of service down here in Polk County. Bill Roberts supplying another fine automobile with us. As I said, Monday through Friday, head on down there till about 5 o'clock in the evening. And Saturdays, I believe they're open till roughly, I think, about 1 or 2. And here comes last week's feature winner. That's Kim McCowan in car number 12. McCowan will start dead last in tonight's Superstock feature. And Bob, hang on to those ice-cold Cokes, because last week the Superstocker showed them the fast way around.
And Ronnie running on those restrictor plates, and I direct your attention now, Mr. Williams, to the rear of the field. You've got Kim McCowan and Troy Constable, two of the faster cars who have an awful lot of traffic to try and work their way through.
Just about set now to roll them up as we'll be sitting in that Bill Roberts pace car. Remember, M&M Quality Products in Willard, Missouri, a big old nice air hose for each and every one of our feature winners here this evening. And Mr. Foreman's going to send in that Chevrolet Camaro. Herb Spickard still looking for that first feature win of the 1994 season, as is Jim Cates. And Jim, in that Hilltop Station sponsored number 91 car, Monte Carlo, has really been looking strong. Row 2, Andy Jenkins and Tim Stark. The third row, Robbie Johnson and Wayne, of course, Steve Bias in car number 79. The fourth row schedule will be Tom Klaus and Glenn Lucas out of Fair Grove. Row number 5, Chuck Hansen in the old-timers car. Wayne Lewis in the number 1 car this evening. Jody Whitener, Johnny Cates, Jeff Smith at 33, Brian Brown in 2, Danny Meyer, Troy Constable, and McCowan. Keep your eyes on the back of that pack, as both of these cars will be charging to the front. The lights will be going off this time around as we get settled for 20 times around this 3/8 mile asphalt oval. Herb Spickard, second-year driver, the Marlin Oil Company sponsored number 28 machine. Cates to his outside as the lights now go off. Jenkins, who won the Fast Dash Heat race earlier, looking for victory number 1 in his young career. And second-generation driver Tim Stark, the son of the Chicken Man, George Stark, will flank him to that outside. Here they come, nose to tail, ready on a side-by-side restart. Keith looks our field over, and the green is out. We're ready to go racing. And you can see the Superstockers, exactly why we call them that. It's Spickard, or is it Cates? Meanwhile, Jenkins now making his move by the wild side. Wheel to wheel, they go into turn number 3. Spickard with the Ford, Cates with the Monte Carlo, and here comes Jenkins in that Buick. Lap number 1 now will go to Herb Spickard. Door handle to door handle, they bunch up. Klaus, Johnson, and Lewis all looking for running room on that low groove. Cates continues to run in the number 2 spot. And Jeff Smith now coming down the front stretch at 33. Off of turn number 4. Jenkins getting a little bit sideways as that yellow flag comes out. Yellow flag coming out at a tough break for Andy Jenkins at car number 59. As Bob, he was really running strong early this evening.
Boy, a tough break for Andy Jenkins in car 59, who's really been running strong over the last half of the season. But as the field makes its way down the front stretch, it's that big Ford of Herb Spickard, who has had his share of problems and then some over the last couple of months. And the Marlin Oil Company sponsored car 28 with Cates on his bumper. Late model stocks with one of the tightest points battles you will ever find, getting ready to hit the track next. Only 6 points or 3 track positions separate the top 2 runners in the late model stock division. It's Spickard, Cates, Stark, Klaus, and Bias.
Here we go with 1 lap down. The lights now go off around the Friday night action track. Spickard once again to set the pace, and don't forget the businesses that support us. The Polk County Bank, the Southwest Bank of Polk County, and the Ozarks Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper Bowling Company. Here we go, 1 down, 19 to go. Dueling and dicing, ready on a nose-to-tail restart, and The green is out. We're back to race in action. Remember, your point leader, Wayne Lewis, is driving the 1 car this evening. He goes to the inside of Steve Bias as Tom Klaus is now on the charge. And here comes the I-44 Speedway leader, Troy Constable. Constable working his way from dead last now to the middle of the pack, but it's Bickert still setting the pace. Herb Bickert continues to set up blistering pace as young Jim Cates with a great run in car 91. Meanwhile, Tom Klaus dives to the inside. Stark and Lewis wheel to wheel. The battle now for 4th and 5th. Bias now 6th. Coming down the front straightaway. Bickert still in control as Klaus looks to the inside of Cates once more. The race for the number 2, 3, 4, and 5 spot. Bickert leaves the door wide open on that low side. Klaus in a hot battle, not able to take advantage as they come off turn number 4 now. Bickert still in control as Cates and Klaus continue their race for 2nd place. Klaus dives low. Cates stays on that high groove while the Pontiac attempts to and watch Constable about Camaro. Constable tries to highlight. Now Wayne Lewis is on the charge down low, trying to get by your 2nd place man in the standing, Tom Klaus, but Bickert still holds on. Constable is on the charge, as is Steve Bias. Lewis and Klaus getting together, and in a sudden charge, it's Wayne Lewis now up to the number 3 spot. Bickert still continues to set the pace. Cates in the number 2 spot as the yellow flag coming out. Jody Whitener down here in turn number 2.
Second caution of the evening for the Super Stocks, with Herb Bickert able to hang on to that lead, but what a battle that's been developing for that number 2 position. We'll make a couple of changes to the field, and then we should have ourselves a pretty good lineup. And on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 5 laps down, 15 laps are remaining for the Super Stock. For sponsorship is what helped make the racing competition possible. All kinds of folks have jumped aboard with the NASCAR Winston Racing Series this year. Of course, the Ozark Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper Bottling Company is on hand with us. Ronnie, you won't find 2 better financial institutions anywhere than the Polk County Bank and the Southwest Bank of Polk County.
Absolutely. You get that friendly hometown service, both of them right off the square in Bolivar. In fact, one sets this side, the other sets that side. Off the square in Bolivar, the Polk County Bank and the Southwest Bank of Polk County. We'll be seeing the lights shut off this time around. Don't forget, race fans, Hardee's of Southwest Missouri, they got a location here in Bolivar. They're open till midnight for the racers and the race fans. It's 5 down, 15 to go. And Bickert, what a job the driver out of Springfield has been doing in that number 28 Ford. Jim Cates and Klaus will continue their battle as they get ready on the restart. Here they come, and he says, I don't think so.
I got a funny feeling Keith Foreman wants to try that again. Would that be a pretty safe assumption? Nose to tail for the restart. Bickert, Cates, and Klaus, your top 3 runners. Boy, Bickert in that 28, Ronnie, he's had problem after problem after problem, but now leading the main event.
You know, Herb was one of our rookie contenders last year in a great field of super stock rookies we had at Bolivar and Lebanon. In fact, I think he was 3rd in the rookie standings. He led several races but had a lot of axles break on him. This year he has been very fast, and then all of a sudden, a little bit of mechanical problem, whether it be an axle breaking or the car just not running. Herb is still looking for that first ever feature win in, of course, the familiar 28 car. Here we go, 5 down, 15 to go. Keep your eyes on that battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, as Bickert has been getting great jumps on the restart. Here they come, looking for Mr. Foreman's green, and we're gonna go racing. Meanwhile, while there goes Tom Klaus to the inside. Klaus trying to pick up a couple of points on Wayne Lewis, and Troy Constable now, the I-44 Speedway point leader, making a move around Steve Bias, but it's all the second-year driver, Hertz Beckert. Now Wayne Lewis puts the nose of that number 1 car right in the midst of that battle for second. Klaus down low. Kate shuts the door as the yellow flag comes out, and Jody Whitener up here in turn number 4.
Six laps are down on your Coca-Cola scoreboard. 14 laps remaining with the late model stocks in the staging area. And they will hit the track next. Can Herb Spickard hang on and get the win this evening, or will this be Cates' night in the 91 machine? Klaus out of St. James has been running strong all year. Got ourselves a good lineup, Ronnie, and this is an example of the 2-spin rule.
2 self-induced spins. In other words, a car not helping you along or being involved with you, and you're out for the rest of that evening on that race. Should this have happened in a heat race, he would have been out for the heat race, but could have come back for the feature. 6 down, 14 to go. Spicker taking her 1 lap at a time, and he says, let's go racing. And once again, Klaus dives to the inside of Kate. Watch the battle now for the number 2 spot. It's Klaus and Kate, while Lewis and Constable now continue their race back in the middle of the pack. Into turn 3, Klaus has got the low line, but it's Spickard in that big old Ford, setting a blistering pace on the high groove. Here comes Lewis, Case and Constable. 5 cars bunched up. Stork back at 6. He's joining the fun. Now, Klaus alongside of Spickard. Meanwhile, his running mate, Troy Constable, on the charge also as Bias falls off the pace. A new race leader now coming down the front straightaway. It's Tom Klaus. It's been quite a drought for the Valvoline sponsored driver as he holds on, and here comes Wayne Lewis. Lewis on the inside. Klaus is on the outside. By the wild side they go. Wheel to wheel into turn number 3. This is a battle. 1 and 2 in the track standings, and here comes the 11-point man Constable. Troy Constable in that Camaro going to the outside lane, while Klaus and Lewis continue their nose-to-tail fight. There goes Troy by the wild side. Constable now trying to take over that number 2 spot. Going on the outside. Klaus down low. Here comes Constable on the outside as Klaus tries to shut the door. Wheel to wheel. Lewis now looking for running room. We're halfway home. 10 down, 10 to go. Now Lewis goes to the outside lane into turn number 3. It's Klaus low. Constable high. Lewis tries the inside as Klaus smokes the tires. Now Wayne Lewis with a head of steam up in that Jack Warren truck. Sponsor number 1, but it's Troy Constable on the move. And look at Robbie Johnson. After being sent earlier in the evening to the rear of the pack, Robbie Johnson is on the charge. He's moving up around Spicker for 4th. Constable, Lewis, Klaus, Johnson, and Spicker. Your top 5 runners are now Glenn Lucas. Lucas is also on the charge out of Fairgrove, Missouri in car 26. Constable out in front. He gives Lewis the low lane. Constable running that high groove as they come down the front straightaway. The battle of the point leaders. Constable at Lebanon. Lewis, Constable gets it sideways. Him and Lewis touch off a turn 2. Here comes Klaus and Robbie into turn number 3. Lewis low, Constable up high. Here they come with plenty of racing room as Robbie Johnson now is clearly the fastest car on the speedway. Klaus and Johnson get together down in turn number 1. The battle with a 4-car train. Spickard rounds out your top 5. Meanwhile, it's Constable now. Lewis makes the low groove. Work for him in car number 1, but Constable holds on by a car length. McCowan on the charge, gets it sideways, cutting to the infield. Now Lewis makes the charge. Constable continues to use that high groove to hit the advantage. Off of turn 4, watch Lewis once again try to work the low line while Robbie Johnson and Tom Klaus continue their battle. The boys from Miller Cars against the guys from Rolla. Continue that race for 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're heading for lap 17 as we've got Tim Stark looping it down at turn number 2.
So Tim Stark loops it headed off of turn number 2. 16 down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. And you know what we're setting the stage for? That good old-fashioned 4-lap shootout with Constable, Lewis, Klaus, and now the driver who may benefit more from this than anyone else, as there was quite a gap between 4th and 1st, but no longer. That's Robbie Johnson in the 00 machine.
This is the battle of the point leaders. Constable, the Lebanon point leader. Lewis, the Bolivar point leader. Here we go. And Klaus, who is second in the point standings at both of the racetracks, back there riding in third. And Bob, without a doubt, Robbie Johnson is perhaps the fastest car on the speedway right now, as he charged from being sent to the rear earlier all the way up to 4th, and this yellow flag definitely helped him out. The lights are going off. It's a nose-to-tail battle. That's how close they are. Lewis letting Constable know he's back there. Watch Tom Klaus, because Constable has used that high line. Lewis saying, hey, I know you're the man at Lebanon, but I'm the man to beat at Bolivar. Meanwhile, Robbie Johnson using the high line to his advantage, looking for the restart, and we're back to race that action. And debris down in turn number 3. So that start's going to go for naught, and Danny Meyer, and you can see Brian Brown in car number 2. He'll be making a wide turn in that Sonic Drive-In sponsored number 2 machine and heads back to the pit area. And Bob, I tell you what, I don't think it gets any better than this.
4-lap shootout. It's like taking to the OK Corral, and the question is, can that Steak and Shake Camaro find its way into winner's circle again, or will Wayne Lewis, in a car he's never driven before, taste victory tonight?
Well, I tell you what, Bob, let's ask these people in the grandstand. What do you think? We're going to work our way from 4th to the front. Do you think Robbie Johnson has got enough tires and car left for this final 4-lap shootout? Okay, what about Tom Klaus? He is second in the track point standings, making the low groove work to his advantage. Does he have enough left? What about the Bolivar point leader? Borrowing a car this evening from last year's champion. Does the man here at Bolivar, Wayne Lewis, have enough left this evening? What about the big dog at the I-44 Speedway, all the way from Rolla, Missouri? Does Troy Constable, can he hang on for another Bolivar win? Oh, hang on to those ice cold Cokes, because it's going to be a 4-lap shootout. And Bob, what's got to impress me, Wayne Lewis at the last minute decided to get into that number 1 car, started in the qualifying spot, of course, qualified car. I think he did run in the heat race. In fact, they made the decision right before the qualifiers. And Troy Constable, who started dead last, has worked his way to the front. And Lewis, what impresses me, he's driving an unfamiliar car to him. All right, looks like we've got the track cleared. Mr. Foreman has that green flag in hand. 16 down. All the marbles, 4 to go. Constable 1, Lewis 2, Klaus 3, Johnson 4th, and Herb Spickard right there in 5th. And here comes Danny Meyer back out now in car number 21 as they pull the buffer away from that Jenkins 66 sponsor number 21 machine. Constable brings them in nice and easy. He's the man to set the pace. You're going to see Lewis right on his bumper. A little bit of cat and mouse, or will they? Troy quickly goes to the gears, and the green is out. We're back to race in action, and here comes Lewis on the low side. Wheel to wheel. Lewis low. Constable up high. Off of turn number 2. Troy making that high groove work. Rocketing down by the wall side. Into turn 3. Lewis continues to use that low line. Troy getting up in the mobiles. But here comes the Camaro back at him as Robbie now moves up to third. 17 down, 3 to go. Wayne Lewis now out in front, trying to stretch that point lead over Klaus, but Robbie Johnson is the man on the move. Last year's Superstock Rookie of the Year is challenging the I-44 point leader for second place with 18 down, 2 remaining. It's Lewis 1-0. Johnson and Constable get together. The white flag will be coming out this time around for Wayne Lewis with only one more lap to go. Johnson now up to the number 2 spot as Klaus is fallen by the wayside. Tom Klaus trying to hang on to 5th, but as they roar by the wall side into turn 3, he sets it on the high side in an unfamiliar car. Your winner, Wayne Lewis. Johnson comes home second, Constable third, Pickard fourth, Klaus rounds out your top 5.
Points leader, Wayne Lewis. Oh, and it won't take him long to pop out of that machine as the safety harnesses are unstrapped. He'll take the helmet off and drop that window net as well. He started to extend his track points lead. He is in victory circle tonight. Bring him on up, fans. Wayne Lewis.
Woo. You guys never tell me the truth. I'm not going to ask any more questions. I seen your crew over there after practice. You said the motor was gone. You were going to drive the 15 car this evening. How'd all this come about?
I was going to take that car and talk to Charlie and told him mine blew, and he said I could take his, and 15 car wasn't running quite up to as good as it should have been, so we didn't want to chance it, so we decided to get in here and give it a try.
What a race. You and Constable put on a great race, and you had another orange and white car coming. Robbie Johnson was coming at you the last 2 laps.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. He had to go back there in the back, but he was getting right up there.
Of course, a great deal by Charlie letting you have that car. Keeps you at top of the point standings with only 2 weeks to go, and Klaus only ends up 4th or 5th this evening.
Yeah, I want to thank Charlie Johnson a lot.
Okay, the people that normally put you behind the wheel of that 14 car, you'll be ready tomorrow night at Lebanon with that car, right?
Yep, sure will.
Let's talk about the sponsors on the 14 car that you have.
I got Julian Sharon Bond, tire sponsor, Donswell Home Service, Cameo Carpets, Wayne's and Custom Flooring Installation, and that's about it.
Did it take much adjustment to get ready for this car?
Oh, we had to loosen her up for me a little. I drive a little bit lower groove than Charlie, but it runs good.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's your point leader here at Speedway USA Bolivar in a borrowed car tonight. Super Stock winner in car number 1, Wayne Lewis.
Ronnie, he will get that picture taken in front of the number 1 machine. He's got one more stop to make this evening, and that, of course, is the tech shed. 1 down. Oh, and the points battle is heating up as the Bill Roberts Camaro will lead them out. And the Ashley Mason Anderson one-stop sponsored car number 4, the Chevrolet Beretta of Dave Anderson. The American band sponsored Grand Prix of Ron Duproux. Randy Besser makes his way out in car 24, looking for another top 5 finish. He is currently 4th in the track point standings in car 56, TJ Tony Jackson. The 3-time Speedway USA track champion, and in a great battle for the track title at the I-44 Speedway in car 57, Larry Roberts. He is currently 2nd in the Speedway USA track point standings. Only 6 points or 3 track positions behind your leader, all the way from the suburbs of Kansas City, out of Holden in car 33, Destry Huff. He comes to us out of Marshfield, a consistent runner, 3rd in the track point standings, looking for win number 1 this year in car 54, Mark Chance. He is the defending Speedway USA track champion. He is your points leader by only 6. Out of Gravois Mills in car number 1, the racing Reverend Jack Daniel. He had some problems during the qualifying heat race, but back on the track in car 83 out of the Samco transmission sponsor machine of Ben Newell. A couple of weeks back, he had one of the biggest paydays of his career in the Gatorade Challenge race. Out of Buffalo in car 49, Sam Payne. So evidently some problems as well for J.C. Newell in car 84 as the Gentle Giant has not made his way onto the track. The lights are off on the Bill Roberts Camaro. It will head back to the pits. This one of the biggest races of the year for the 5 drivers ranked in the top 5 of the point standings, and Jack Daniels, Destry Huff, Mark Chance, Tony Jackson, and Ben Newell. They'll head off of turn 3. Give them a chance to scuff in those Hoosier racing slicks as we get ready for the late model stock main event. The caution light will come on as the late model stocks will settle in their positions side by side and nose to tail, getting ready for their big 25-lap shootout. Anderson and Duprois, Jackson and Besser, Huff and Roberts, Daniel and Chance, Payne and Newell. The lights go off and the powerful right arm of Keith Foreman is now in the air. One of the biggest late model stock races of the season, with the rookie driver sitting inside of row 1, Dave Anderson, to set the pace. 25 times around the Friday night action track. Keith Foreman, what do you say? This time around to the late model stocks. Let's go racing. And Duprois hauls out front in car 28. Jackson looking to follow that same line down the backstretch, as is Destry Huff, and here comes the Reverend. Their nose to tail, Duprois and the 56 of Jackson, with Destry Huff, the All-American Ford car 33, as Roberts gets together. Look out, Chance as well. And Dave Anderson also collected in turn number 1. Boy, does that throw a monkey wrench into the situation with the point standings. Anderson is broken free in car 4. Larry Roberts and Mark Chance involved as well in an incident off of turn number 1. Hopefully not a lot of damage done to these machines, as Chance has climbed out of car 54. He was in a position where he had absolutely nowhere to go. A lot of rear-end sheet metal damage done to that Chevrolet Beretta of Dave Anderson. This will be an original restart for the late model stocks, putting them side by side. The Grand American Late Models, the stars and cars of the Pacific Coast region, will venture onto the track next. Five times around, and Robertson Chan. And the Besser Woodwork sponsored car 24. We've got ourselves a pretty good lineup with 24 laps remaining, then 30 laps of late model excitement, followed by the bomb squad. Of course, Ronnie, one of the rules that you need to abide by at the Speedway, you need to have a wrecker able to answer a call at a moment's notice, and the two have headed back to the pits with Larry Roberts and Mark Chance. As soon as they drop off the vehicles, we'll be able to turn loose the late model stocks.
Oh, that's right, Bob. You want one to be able to shake free in case you're going to have to be able to keep the show moving. And looks like we got someone getting ready to roll back out, and Dave Anderson will be coming back out now in car number 4. Didn't look good, Bob. Larry Roberts, it was a lot of front-end damage, as was Mark Chance's car. And as they pulled it down the front stretch, you could see the tire was bent in that way, possibly a broken tie rod. A lot of front-end damage done to Mark's car. Nowhere to go as the track was blocked, and a tough break for those two drivers because Larry not having the last couple of good weeks as he's been in the top 5 just about all season long, each and every Friday and Saturday night.
Tony Jackson could also be a big winner in the game in car 56. He's 4th in the track point standings, just 22 back of the Racing Reverend, and we look for the lights to go off this time around with 24 laps remaining. The American band-sponsored car 28 of Ron Dubois trying to hold off Tony Jackson, Destry Huff, Jack Daniel, and Ben Newell has already picked up a couple of wins this year at Speedway USA. The lights are off. 24 laps remaining as the late model stocks dial turn 3. Keith Foreman will look him over and say, "Let's go racing!" Looking for a second win, and Ben Newell to the inside of track points leader Jack Daniel as Destry Huff challenges Tony Jackson for the number 2 position. Newell is up to 4th as they hit the start-finish line with 2 laps down. Destry Huff trying to pick up a couple of valuable track points. The Holden chauffeur looking inside of Jackson, but it's Ben Newell on the move in car 83. After problems during the heat race, he's got that machine dialed in. Now challenging Jackson for the number 3 spot as Destry Huff hangs on to 2nd. 3 laps down, 22 laps remaining. Jack Daniel trying to get another position back as he battles Tony Jackson. But your race leader continues to be Ron Dubois. That American band-sponsored machine looking to hold off Destry Huff. But Ben Newell continues to fly around the track. Jack Daniel and Tony Jackson round out your top 5. We will have 5 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 20 laps remaining. Newell tried the inside of Destry Huff but couldn't find the running room. And Jack Daniel now moving up on the Camdenton chauffeur. He looks to challenge for the number 3 spot. It's Ron Dubois across the start-finish line with 6 down. And Ben Newell now looking to the inside of the Holden chauffeur, but he cannot find any running room this time. Sam Payne running a consistent 6th. As your race leader, Ron Dubois, crosses the start-finish line. The battle is for 2nd and on the low side. Ben Newell challenging Holden's Destry Huff. The Racing Reverend Jack Daniel moving up as well as Huff slams the door shut this time. 8 laps down. We are going 25. Dubois, Huff, Newell, Daniel, and Jackson, your top 5. And that 5-car freight train dials turn 4, and now the front stretch. 9 down, 16 remaining. And Jack Daniel, your points leader, trying the inside of Camdenton's Ben Newell in a battle for the number 3 spot. The veteran driver out of Gravois Mills as Larry Roberts makes it back out at 57. Jack Daniel side by side with Ben Newell in a battle for 3rd. Both trying to catch Ron Dubois and Destry Huff. Lap traffic will play a role here as Larry Roberts and his crew have done a great job getting that 57 machine back together. But look at the battle for the lead. It's Duprois, now Ben Newell making a little bit of contact down the backstretch. Jack Daniel using that and sliding right on the rear bumper of the Holden chauffeur, who drifts high as they hit the front stretch. Side by side in a battle for second. Jack Daniel and Destry Huff. They're 1 and 2 in the point standings. They're side by side into turn 3 as Duprois opens up about a 6-car length advantage. We'll have 13 down, 12 remaining. The battle still for second. 2 valuable track points on the line. Only 6 separate them with 1 race left after this. Destry Huff, that All-American Ford. Drifting high again, the veteran Jack Daniel on the low side. But here comes Ben Newell in the number 4 spot. Looking to follow Destry Huff by the Racing Reverend. In the meantime, it's still that Grand Prix of Ron Duprois holding off the 33 car of Destry Huff. That's a 5-car freight train. 15 down, 10 laps remaining. Duprois, Huff, Daniel, Newell, and Tony Jackson. We'll have 16 down, only 9 laps remaining. Look at that battle at the front of the pack. Duprois bent loose as Destry Huff now receiving a stern challenge from the Racing Reverend Jack Daniel. Ben Newell moving up in that Semco Transmission-sponsored car 83. Tony Jackson currently 4th in the track point standings, running a solid 5th this evening. Duprois challenged by Huff again, but the chauffeur of car 28 slams the door shut. We'll have 18 down this time around. Going 25. The battle for second with Huff. And now Ben Newell, the Camdenton youngster, who ran away with a feature better than a month ago. Trying to move by the Holden chauffeur. Oh, he gets loose. Somehow fishtails it off of turn 4. But drops from second all the way back to 4th. A great job of driving after getting loose by Ben Newell, but now back to the number 4 spot as Jack Daniel slid by. 20 down. It's a 5-lap shootout. Duprois trying to hang on, lead, and win this one flag to flag. Huff and Daniel only 6 points apart in the track point standings. If they finish like this, there would only be 4 points difference. It's Duprois, Huff, Daniel, Ben Newell, and Tony Jackson. And Huff starting to slow a bit in car 33 as Newell challenges Jack Daniel for the number 3 position. 22 laps down, 3 laps remaining. Newell, after dropping back to 4th, trying to move by the Racing Reverend. Destry Huff trailing your race leader on Duprois by about 4 car lengths. 23 down, only 2 laps remaining. Can Duprois hang on and get the win tonight? It would be his second in the Ozarks this year. Or is Destry Huff holding something back for the final lap? What do you say? It's time to find out. The white flag is out for the late model stocks with 1 more lap to go. A huge final 3 corners as Ron Duprois dials the backstretch. Destry Huff second, side by side in a battle for 3rd. Huge track points are on the line as the checkered flag will fly for Ron Duprois. Huff second and side by side. Boy, he shut that American band sponsor Grand Prix down in a hurry. He is tasting winner's circle once again this evening. The helmet is off, the safety harnesses are being unstrapped, the window and end is dropping. He'll get the congratulations from Ronnie Williams, getting ready to climb out of that machine. Bring him out in style, Ron Duprois.
Ooh. I don't know if them guys were racing you or going to let you go. They were back there racing for points and position.
Yeah, I knew that Desiree was back there, and I knew Jack was back there. And like I say, I can't see anything out of this car since we put the spoiler on it, so I could just watch the board down here. But we were real happy.
Run good. We talk about track positions, very important in this class with the restrictor plate. And I want to ask you something a little bit technical for some of the fans here. Just how hard is it to make one of these cars with a plate work? Do you do a lot of dyno, or do you just kind of stick the plate on there and say, here we go?
Well, we just did the best we could. We've used it now for 5 years, and we've changed cams a few times. We don't really have any dyno facilities per se, but like I say, we've found a cam that works pretty well. But if you're in the back, it's just almost impossible with this plate. So
it's always exciting for the fans. They talk about the late model stocks, the late model stocks. We call them that for that stock stub front end. Tell us a little bit about a stock stub front end as opposed to a late model car.
Well, this has got a Camaro front end on this car, but it's basically got from the cross member, right behind the cross member forward, has a frame like any car would, street car, Chevelle or Camaro or Ford, what have you. And then from there on back, it can be tubular. And we don't run coilovers. We run, the big coils like a regular street car would.
So you get away from some of the high dollar stuff. It's a good class to get into, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun, and it's a real safe class. We've really enjoyed it. We've run in it since they started it. And there's a lot of equipment around that will run in it. But this is our last night to run here at this track because I'm going to be gone in 2 more weeks. So I was real happy for the crew because they've worked real hard. And like I say, this is our busy season because we sell to schools. And my lone crewman came down today and got the car ready because we haven't touched it in 2 weeks. It's just sat.
Now let's talk about the sponsors. This is your last night, so you won't be starting tailback in a couple of weeks with us. So that's one thing. But let's talk about the sponsors and that lone crewman over there.
Well, like I said, I'd like to thank American Band Accessories, and then Ellison Embroidery and O'Neill Sheet Metal have helped us out. And like I say, I've got Bob Johnson, who builds our engines, and Mike Rodden, who's our crewman, and my dad, who's the owner. So like I say, it's kind of a family operation, and our lone outside crewman is Mike Rodden from up in Iowa, and he works real hard, and I'm just glad that we could do well tonight for him.
Great run for you, ladies and gentlemen. You can send him back to the tech barn with your applause here this evening. The winner in car number 28, Ron Dupree.
You'll get that picture taken in front of the Winston Racing Series banner here at the Friday night action track. Get the trophy, and one more stop to make for the show from car 28. That, of course, is the
The cars and the stars of a NASCAR Winston Racing Series from the Pacific Coast region. Jerry Kelly will lead them out now in car number 44. Steve Holt in 35. The 18-year-old rookie out of Joplin, Missouri, Jamie McMurray in car number 2. And the Richland Bullet, Bob Webster in 25. Rapid Roy Chisholm ranked in the top 5 or 6 in the point standings going into the night's action in 57. And James Kelly Jr. will be driving car number 30. Jerry Kelly is in 44 this evening. Archie Griffin in car number 11. Paul Wallen in 13. The next row is Brian Daniel in car number 52. And the Arkansas Traveler back with us, Chuck Knight in car number 60. Starting shotgun tonight as Kenny Dickinson out for the evening, as is Tim Swearingen, the man that is currently ranked number 1 in the Pacific Coast region, car 75, Larry Phillips. Bob, this will be a 30th lap event. Last week it was Brian Daniel and Larry Phillips, the winners of our double features. Daniel has got a lot to race for this weekend with only 2 weekends left of NASCAR action. One of those nights will be taken away by the Arco Show, but young Brian is on the bubble, ranked 10th.
Tell you what, I've wanted to ask this question for a while. How many of you folks came out tonight to see car 75 get another NASCAR Winston Racing Series win? How many of you folks came out to see car 75 get beat tonight?
Here we go as that Bill Roberts face Camaro heads back to the pit area. We're going to let him eat the tires out. Monticello comes back out. Jerry Kelly will set the pace for the racing car, number 44 here this evening. Steve holds the heads outside. Row 2, McMurray and Webster. The third row, Chisholm and Kelly Jr. Row 4, second in the point standing, fourth in the region. Griffin with Wallen to heads outside. Daniel and Knight, Phillips starting shotgun. The lights go off around the Friday night action track here at Speedway USA. And Jerry Kelly from Walnut Grove to set the pace for the race is the U.S. Automotive sponsored 44 Chevrolet Lebanon. Holds the heads outside. We're looking for the start, and we're gonna go racing! And quickly, Roy Chisholm dives to the inside to take on the number 2 spot, does he? It's Steve Holt powering down by the wild side. As Daniel and Phillips get together hard down into the backstretch, it's gonna be Steve Holt leading lap number 1 with Jerry Kelly down Chisholm is on the move. Meanwhile, Webster and McMurray battling. McMurray gets a bite on that low move. Phillips and Daniel continue their battle back toward the rear, but it's all Steve Holt, the second generation driver out of Springfield. And Roy Chisholm is on the charge. Rapid Roy in that Baltimore sponsored Chevrolet Lumina. Him and Jerry Kelly continue their battle as now Webster and Griffin starting to make their charge. Down the front stretch they come with Steve Holt still in control. Kelly running second, Chisholm now third. McMurray and Webster wheel to wheel, and Jamie McMurray getting a handle on that number 2 car. Watch them battle back deep in the pack. As they say, green and clean, it's all Steve Holt. Chisholm looks to the inside. Jerry Kelly's got a great run going in a borrowed motor and a borrowed car. Now Griffin and Webster trying to work their way through also. Coming off turn 4. Watch Chisholm and Jerry Kelly and Archie Griffin down in 5th. McMurray, Webster, Griffin, Kelly, and Chisholm. 3 wide. They go up a turn number 2 back in the pack. It's Steve Holt with about a 15-car length lead over Rapid Roy Chisholm. And here comes Archie Griffin. Who normally has the Hardee's of Southwest Missouri sponsorship colors in the Larry Phillips backup car here this evening. Webster and McMurray now fighting it out as Holt continues to set up blistering pace. Chisholm is second and Griffin down third. McMurray right up fifth. Larry Phillips trying to make his move on James Kelly Jr. as the top 3 in the region. Wallen, Daniel, and Phillips having their share of problems. Larry now getting out of that bunched up traffic, starts to set his sails on Jamie McMurray. It's Holt with a full, almost straightaway lead as Chisholm, Griffin, and Webster go nose to tail. Now the Pacific Coast Regional Champion gearing up for the Justice Service Center and Holt's off the pace. Oh, Griffin with a little tag down the front stretch. And Steve Holt, who had a great run, all of a sudden backs out of throttle and a tough break for the second generation driver.
And 8 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard in the 30-lap main event. Only one feature comes your way next. One feature will wrap up the program. That, of course, the bomb squad. And all kinds of damage done to that number 11 machine. Chauffeured tonight by Archie Griffin. He's top 5 in the Pacific Coast Region point standing, so if there's any way at all to pound out some of that sheet metal damage and get him back on the track, his crew is going to try and do that. As Kelly will also try and fire up the 44 car. And it has been a run of poor luck for Steve Holt in that McCann Printing sponsored car number 35, as he has also developed some problems. Boys, you look at that Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 8 laps down, 22 laps remaining, and he is looking for his first win of the season. Former Mellow Yellow Rookie of the Year, out of Republic, Rapid Roy Chisholm is your leader in that Ebenezer's and Ball Timber sponsored car 57. With the Richland Bullet, Bob Webster sitting in the number 2 position. Well, a long, long way to go as the cars make their way down the front stretch. boy, he would like nothing more than to pick up a win this evening, use it as momentum for the IMCA Show. He told us a couple of weeks back, Ronnie, with that new power plant, what Roy Chisholm wants to do is get dialed in for IMCA.
Oh, that's right. Roy has kind of had a rough year, he said, and of course he's looking maybe to pick up a new chassis, hopefully. He said some additional sponsorship would help him get a brand new car. Ronnie Arbuckle provides the power plants for Rapid Roy, and Ronnie, a very strong driver, as Archie Griffin now makes it back out in car number 11. He'll rejoin the rear of the field, but with 8 down and 22 to go, Roy Chisholm now sitting in that number 1 spot with Webster second and Phillips now all the way from back in the pack up to 3rd, McMurray 4th, and Wallen rounds out your top 5. Chisholm trying to hang on for that first ever Speedway USA late model feature win. Remember, back in 1991, Roy was the super stock champion here in this class. And then the next year he made the move to the Grand American Late Model, the former Mellow Yellow Late Model Rookie of the Year, now going into his 3rd year, while Bob Webster in that Osborne Porterwell Chevrolet Lumina right on his bumper. And Bob, in the past at the old Lake Raceway in Lebanon, has won in every class he's ever raced except the late models. He's won super stocks, modified, sportsmen. As the lights are on, Chisholm to bring them in. Here they come, and the green is out. We're back to race in action. And Chisholm now lets Webster have that inside lane, or does he? Larry starts to make his run by the wild side as Wallen makes the move on McMurray. Now Phillips to the outside of Webster. Here comes a 3-car race for the number 1 spot. But it's Chisholm hanging on strong. Webster down low, Julian Darcy, and what a move by the 3-time NASCAR champion. Phillips now to the front, Chisholm right there in the number 2 spot, as Webster now hangs on to 3rd. Phillips looking to continue his winning ways here at Speedway USA, while the race now goes on for the number 2 spot. Chisholm, Webster, and Wallen. Wallen trying to improve another good finish to get another spot up in the Pacific Coast Speedway standing. Larry starts to open up that lead as we're getting close to the halfway point. Chisholm and Webster along with Wallen in a 3-car race for the number 2 spot as they come roaring down the front straightaway. Webster looks to the inside. Wallen in that Oldsmobile looks on the outside lane. Watch the race now for the number 2 spot as the Pacific Coast Regional leader Larry Phillips sets a blistering pace. Webster looks inside, or does he? He backs off as Chisholm holds on to that runner-up spot. Off of turn number 2. Webster decides to try the low line once more. Webster down low. Chisholm shuts the door as Wallen backs off now, looking for some running room to move up to 3rd. Halfway home, starts to stretch out that lead. Brian Daniel also trying now to move up another spot or 2 through the pack. Coming down the front straightaway, Phillips still setting a pace, and watch this race for 2nd place. Roy Chisholm, Bob Webster, and Paul Wallen, and watch the race also for 5th. McMurray, Kelly Jr., Knight, and Brian Daniel continue to go at it, while Phillips still dominates. Webster now is going to try that inside groove. Bob to the inside, Roy's on the outside, side by side, they race for the number 2 spot, with Chisholm by half a car length. 2 strong races, while it's all Phillips here in the Grand American feature. Watch this race now, and Bob trying to beat Roy down to the left side of the corner. Meanwhile, Chuck Knight, Brian Daniel having their own war back there for the number 7 spot. Webster now, Wallen's making the high groove work. Will Webster be hung out to dry on that inside lane? Wallen now moving up to 3rd. Webster and Wallen continue their battle, but it's Roy Chisholm now back up to the number 2 position as they single it out. Back in the 5th spot, Kelly Jr. and McMurray has now Wallen and Chisholm, and here comes Webster back on the inside. Roy Chisholm in the middle, Wallen's Oldsmobile to the outside as him and Bob Webster continue their battle by the wild side, while Larry stretches that lead. Watch this race once again for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. 21 down, 9 to go. Chisholm, Webster, Wallen, swapping back and forth. Wallen now backs off, letting the tires cool down. Here comes Webster once again on the inside as Chisholm tries the highway again. Down into turn one. Webster and Chisholm wheel to wheel at over 100 miles an hour as Wallen now will try the outside. While Phillips opens up a good straightaway lead. They'll race once again now to the number 5 spot and the number 2 spot. Webster inside, Chisholm on the outside. Wallen trying to drive that Oldsmobile up to the runner-up spot. It's clean and green for the Pacific Coast Regional leader, Larry Phillips, as now McMurray and Kelly Jr. fighting it out from there. Chuck Knight going off the pace. Chuck Knight with a big tie rod in car number 60, and that's going to bring out the yellow flag.
And all the way from Fort Smith, Arkansas, the Arkansas traveler Chuck Knight with some problems in that 60 machine. And you look now at the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, you see 24 laps down. And it's turned into, once again, a good old-fashioned shootout with a 3-time national champion who essentially has a perfect score in the Pacific Coast region, trying to hold off a former Rookie of the Year.
With a 6-lap shootout left.
Running in second, the Richland Bullet. Bob Webster is third.
This gives Wallen, Webster, and Chisholm a chance to cool their tires off just a little bit. They were not abusing them, but they were definitely hurting them just a little bit. And you can see Chuck Knight all the way back with us from Fort Smith, Arkansas, checking over what suspension part might have broke on that Chevrolet Lumina. It's after the races. Lights go off. Phillips to set the pace. Let's see how that battle for second goes. Or does Chisholm have a little something for Ronnie Arbuckle's motor? Here they come, and the green is out with action, race in action. And Phillips quickly gets the jump on that restart, and here we go. McMurray challenges Wallen while Webster and Chisholm once again fight it out for second and third. The 5-lap warning has now been given, and it's Phillips still over the road, and here comes the 6-car train. Brian Daniel trying to improve another finish, goes to the inside of James Kelly Jr. The battle now for the number 6 and 7 spot, or is it second, third, and fourth? Because Chisholm has a mirror full of Webster and Wallen on the move. Wallen dives to the low side. Wallen moves now up to the number 3 spot as Webster gets in the high marble area. Off of turn number 4. Phillips still setting the pace, and now that caution flag is just what Paul Wallen needed. 27 down, 3 to go. Chisholm and Wallen continuing their battle, and Webster is out of tires. Bob Webster, the car loose. Evidently the tires have went away. Down the front stretch, only 2 remain. Now the race to the number 2 and 3, 4 and 5 holes. As Wallen goes to the inside of Chisholm. Daniel also trying to get a top 4 run. The white flag coming out. This time for Larry Phillips, only 1 more lap to go. Phillips stretching it out. Watch the race as Phillips slows up. Larry slowing up as the yellow comes out. And Brian Daniel whooping her down here in turn number 4. Racing hard to get up into the top 5 this evening. We've got 29 down and 1 lap to go.
Ronnie, we're looking at the dexterity of Keith Foreman being challenged. It'll be the white and green together. And you know who continues to turn some heads as well? He's looking to fall back into the top 10 in the Pacific Coast region. And Ronnie, a second place finish for Roy Chisholm would definitely aid that cause.
Of course, Roy winless this year. Started the year very fast. At one time was the man on the bubble in the Winston Racing Series trying to get that trip to Nashville. as we'll get them all bunched up. Paul Wallen trying to secure a good top 3 finish. Here we go, the lights are off. It's Phillips, Chisholm, Wallen, McMurray, and Kelly Jr. Griffin has now worked his way up to 6. It's going to be a green and white together, and we've got one more lap to go. Can Wallen overhaul Roy Chisholm? McMurray looks to the inside. Now Wallen sets his sights on Rapid Roy. As they come off turn 3, the checkered flag in hand is coming out for Larry Phillips. Chisholm second, Wallen third, McMurray. I think they're still wanting to do a little bit of racing. They thought they had a shot at you there. Got a little hairy. I seen you slow up there when the caution light wasn't out. Brian Spun, was the crew talking to you on the radio at that time?
Yeah, they was telling me what was going on over there. There's much smoke and everything. I figured there'd be a yelling, and we thought, well, maybe there's not going to be. So try to take off again. That could have been a mistake on my part right there.
Now let's talk about next weekend. Of course, regular NASCAR show in Pacific Coast Regional Points, very important, especially for Paul Wallen, Brian Daniel, and Archie Griffin right now. They're all trying to get a trip to Nashville, and good run for Paul tonight. He got 3rd place. But let's talk about that Art Go Challenge Series. Want everybody to head down there to Lebanon next Saturday night, because that 100-lapper is going to be a great one.
You know, I believe this is going to be one of the best races that anybody will see in this part of the country or for any other part of the country, the 100-lap Art Go race, because I know we're geared up to try to outrun these guys. They're all fast, and I've talked to some friends, Bobby Blount and so forth, that'll be here that geared up too. So it's the last one of the year in this area of that caliber, so everybody's going to be trying hard. I think it'll be off a good race.
Be a real good one. We're looking for a big late model field because a lot of point races at tracks to the United States are kind of settled down by then, and they've been decided, so a lot of them say, well, there's a big money race, I'm going to head on down that way.
Yeah, I talked to Rick Corelli this morning trying to get him to come down here, but it was a little late. I told him I'd loan him a concept motor, and so he isn't coming, but I'd sure like for him to be here because that'd complete the class.
Seen you hot lapping a different car out here this evening. What's the deal with that?
Oh, that's a new car that's an experimental deal that we're kind of working with and just seeing what it is, and hot lap it a little now and then and may race it someday.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's getting ready to head down to the check barn. What do you say you send him down there with your applause, the driver of the Sportsman Pickup Covers, number 75, tonight's late model feature winner, Larry Phillips. Squad feature because Klossner is in a heated points battle, and Bob, here they come. The grassroots of area racing are one and only the Bomb Squad.
Charlie Dinwiddie leads him out in car 51. It's Dennis sitting in car 88. Stacy Hall in 14, Tony Barton in 34, James Bates in 91, Rocky Rash in car 77, Darren Red in 89, it's Don Scroggins in 03, Bill Pillmore's 53, Cleo Jasper in 93, John Reppert in 99, High Groove Jeff Richardson in 97, Ron Paladra in 71, Doug Price in 36, Jim Sneed in 81, and starting shotgun in a car he has never driven before. Normally chauffeur in the big Ford, number 15, but now in Jerry Ballinger's car, number 40, that's Gary Klossner. As the Bill Roberts Camaro will head off the track this time around, we get ready for 15 laps of Bomb Squad excitement. Call them the grassroots of area racing. They run pure street tires. That's why they squall when they go around the corners. Tomorrow evening, racing at the I-44 Speedway. Gates open at 5:30. Racing starting at 7:30. Hot lap sandwiched in between as that Camaro takes a high line back to the pits. Keith Foreman will go ahead and roll up that flag, turn the lights off, and put the powerful right arm in the air and say, ladies and gentlemen, side by side, nose to tail. Don't forget, if you want a copy of tonight's racing action right below the tower, you can go and register for that or some of the racing action from earlier this year. That's a videotape copy of the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. Dinwiddie and Sitton side by side in row one. The lights off. Keith Foreman of the grassroots of area racing, the bomb squad. What do you say? 15 times around. Let's go racing. Dinwiddie takes your lead going to turn one. They're 3 wide. Hall, Barton, and Sitton. And here comes Pillmore on the charge in 53, already up to the number 4 spot as they go 4 deep off of turn 3. And across the start-finish line is Dinwiddie 1, Hall 2, Pillmore 3, Rocky Rash on the move. And up to the number 4 spot as Palandra loops at 71 at the rear of the field. And Hall challenging for the lead as they go side by side off of turn 4. 2 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. And Pillmore now trying to usher his way by Hall, who gets a bit sideways in 14. It's Dinwiddie 1, Pillmore 2, Hall 3, Rash 4, Barton in the number 5 spot. Bomb Squad will be on hand with us next Friday evening as well. 3 are down, 12 are remaining. Pillmore, Dinwiddie side by side. And Bill Pillmore in 53, your new race leader. Rash up to the number 3 spot. Hall and Repper up to the top 5. As Sitton is well off the pace now in car 88. 4 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. As Barton loops that 34 machine down to the infield doing the agricultural racing, trying to spin the tires and get back onto the track. And he will do that as we have 5 down. 10 laps remaining for the bomb squad. Rash now challenging Dinwiddie for the 2nd spot. Dinwiddie gets high. Rocky Rash now up to the number 2 position, but Dinwiddie clawing back. But it's Bill Pillmore in car 53 setting the pace down the front stretch. 6 are down, 9 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. The battle continues to be for the number 2 spot with Rash and Dinwiddie. Hall, Richardson, and Repper round out your top 5. And Ballinger up to the number, or rather, Klossner up to the number 8 spot in Ballinger's car number 40. 7 are down, 8 laps remaining. In the 15-lap bomb squad main event, the lap car Sitton will now come into play as Rocky Rash falls off the pace in 77 with High Groove moving by. But it's Bill Pillmore out front by a wide margin, more than halfway through the bomb squad's main event. Pillmore 1, High Groove and Dinwiddie. 1 high, 1 low as they go at it for 2nd. Rash hangs on to the 4th spot. Hall is now running 5th. This time around, there will be 9 laps in the book on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard as Bill Pillmore and that Snap-on Tool sponsored car 53. Leading your track points later, Jeff Richardson. Dinwiddie with a strong run in the number 3 spot. As Pillmore sets his sights on the front stretch with 10 down, 5 laps remaining. And at 53, really looking strong this evening. The lap car Snead about to come into play, and Barton well off the pace in 34. Pillmore dialing turn 4, and the caution will come out. Tony Barton really slowing on the entrance to the pits. And that will bring out the caution flag. In fact, that 34 machine has been brought to a complete stop. That, though, the caution flag is the absolute last thing that Bill Pillmore wanted to see. Jeff Richardson was about 6 to 7 car lengths behind, but now glued right to the bumper of Pillmore. And it looks like Jim Snead may give a hand to Tony Barton and try and get that 34 machine back to the pits. Save a little wear and tear on the wreck. Because I tell you what, fans, that's an awful lot of sportsmanship right there as Jim Snead ushers Tony Barton back to the pits. 10 are down, 5 laps remaining. We've got ourselves a good lineup. Pillmore 1, Richardson 2, Dinwiddie running third, Rash and Hall your top 5. The lights are off. It's a 5-lap shootout. Can Pillmore hang on, or will this be another win for High Group? What do you say to a 5-lap shootout? Let's find out, and let's go racing. Nose to tail, bumper to bumper, Pillmore and Richardson down the backstretch. Don't forget about Dinwiddie, Rash, and Hall. As Pillmore drifting a bit high, that's where Jeff Richardson likes to run. 11 are down. It's a 4-lap dash to the checkered flag as Rash will challenge Dinwiddie for the number 3 position. And Rash on the inside, Dinwiddie slamming the door shut. Hall rounds out your top 5. But it's Bill Pillmore in that Snap-on Tools sponsored car 53 across the start-finish line for the 12th time with 3 laps remaining. Is High Group playing the patient game? Does car 97 has something left for Bill Pillmore as Paladra pulls 71 to the middle of the infield. Nose to tail, 13 down, 2 laps remaining. Well, if Richardson is holding something back, now's the time to let it all hang out. Pillmore, Richardson, Dinwiddie, Rash, and Hall, your top 5. With the white flag rolled up, unfurled as Richardson challenges for the lead. They've only got 1 more lap to go. Pillmore looking for win number 2 at the Friday night action track as Rash will move by Dinwiddie and up to the number 3 position. About a 3-car length advantage for Bill Pillmore. Off of turn 4, nose to tail, the final corner. The checkered flag will fly for Bill Pillmore. Richardson 2nd, Rash 3rd, Hall 4th, and Dinwiddie comes home 5th. Trophy presentation, a big, big win. Holding off the defending track champion is never easy.
Well, I tell you what, when you got the point leader glued to your bumper or back over about 10 car lengths, you don't want to see a yellow flag, do you?
No, I had a little stretch there, and I hated to see him come up on the bumper, but I held him off.
Good run for you tonight. Looked like you really had this old Snap-on Tools car hooked up to the track.
It was running good for me tonight. You know, been a tough year, kind of short of these winning circles, but we made it.
Look good. Let's find out about Bill Pillmore. First of all, what do you do for a living?
I'm a technician for Reliable Chevrolet and race.
Do a little bit of racing. Let's talk about maybe next year. Do you want to stay with the Bombers or move up a class?
Well, I've got some people talking to me about maybe driving a modified next year. Don't know if it's all going to come together. If it don't, we'll be back in the Bombers.
Now, let's talk. You told me tonight you'd like to be able to get down here in Winner's Circle. You had a special guest with you this evening.
Yeah, I had 2 people I want to dedicate this race to. One is Ben Conley and family, and the other one is Misty.
Oh, good run. Your second one, this is the one you wanted to get, though, right here in the Winner's Circle. Didn't want to get it through the tech barn, did you?
Oh, you know, I know this whole car's legal, and it's kind of hard to run with some of them other guys, so I just get out here and run, and what happens, happens.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he'll be heading down to the tech barn here in a minute, but you can send him back with your applause. Tonight's Bomb Squad feature winner in car number 53, Bill Pillmore.
Coca-Cola scoreboard, Richardson and Kloster 1 and 2. The 3rd position car, boy, and a long way back is Pillmore in 53. Here they come, off of turn 4, waiting for the white flag in the 15-lap feature with 1 more lap to go. Is there time for Gary Kloster? He tries to glue the inside. Richardson slams it shut as they head down the backstretch for the final time. And into turn 3. Jeff Richardson sets his sights on the front stretch. Gary Kloster dials the inside. Bring him home. It will be Richardson. Richardson won. Klossner coming home in the number 2 spot. And unofficially, Bill Pillmore, Johnny Hall, and John Reppert will round out your top 5. And in the concession stand, sandwiches half price while they last. Get a snack to go. Bring them out, Jeff Richardson.
You suppose you're going to tell me that was work?
It was a lot of work.
Did you know Klossner was on that inside groove?
Yeah, I was watching. He was making it rough.
Making it rough. They finally let you have. Last year we nicknamed you High Groove Jeff. Everyone this year has been high. You've been trying to get the low groove working, and tonight they give you that old groove back, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was a long time getting there.
Long time getting there. Let's talk about those people that helped get you here to the track and let you catch your breath there for a minute.
Well, my dad, he helps me. That's me and him's Richardson Dairy Farms. And Jody Lane, that's Lane's Auto Repair, and the Copper Rail. They all sponsor me, and they make it possible for me to get here.
You only gained 2 more points on Klossner, and he's right there with you in that points battle. You trying to repeat this year?
Oh, if any way possible.
What about it? Would you like to move up another class for next season?
Oh, maybe, if I can.
Of course, I think there's a rule somewhere ahead. If you win the track point title, you have to move up a class next year.
Yeah, either move up or quit.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's getting ready to head down to the tech barn. Let's hear it for tonight's Bomb Squad feature winner. He's your point leader in 97, Jeff Richardson. We do invite you to go down the pits, visit with the drivers, be a little patient. We'll be opening the pit gate up in just a few minutes. Tomorrow night at the I-44 Speedway in Lebanon, Missouri, late model stocks will be running extra laps for extra cash. And don't forget to check your local stores in Bolivar and Lebanon for those discount coupons on the 2-liter bottles of Coca-Cola Classic. For Bob Ale and the staff and management, this is Ron Williams saying drive home safely. And we'll see you next Friday night here at Speedway USA.